Okay, there's that. Good morning and welcome to the National Newspaper Publishers Association's Let It Be Known, and it is Twitter Talk Friday, so you know we coming for y'all on Black Twitter, or Black Twitter is coming for everybody else anyway. We got Misha Green from the Washington Informer with us. We got Totally Randy with us from the Houston Forward Times, and we're about ready to kick off a great Friday morning, even though the weather. What's with the weather? Who's bringing the bad weather? Is it coming from Houston or Washington? Which one?
Houston
Coming
is
from
already in
somewhere.
summer. Houston is in summer already. It was 90 degrees yesterday.
Oh, please, please
Here's the
don't
bragging.
do
We,
this.
we are
Y'all know
not
I have on
starting
a
off our
freaking.
morning by bragging, Randy.
I'm not bragging. I
That's
don't.
exactly what you're doing. Do you not see I
Exactly.
have on a turtleneck? It is not just for fashion purposes and because I'm wearing red lipstick. Okay.
Look, wait, you had to throw in the red lipstick. What does that got to do with weather? What
Okay,
does
well, in
lipstick
fair,
got to do with weather?
look, it was the fact that I did initially have on a purple sweater and then
Go
said,
with
you
the
know what,
purple.
I'm wearing red lipstick. I have to admit.
Ah, I
I
see.
But
It's
a
love
a
it.
sweater
vanity thing.
nonetheless was necessary. A
It's a
sweater was
vanity thing.
I
You
think
went
it's
on mute,
cute.
Misha. Misha's like the diva this morning. She had us all waiting. That's why we late, y'all. I'm telling y'all the truth. It was because of Misha
It really
Green, the
was.
managing
Not
editor.
during Women's History Month, Stacey. I'm gonna back Nisha
Okay.
up. She is a very important, very, very busy woman and editor of the Washington Informer. She literally have so many things she does
She
before she
does. You
can
know
get
what
out
else she
and talk
does?
Twitter talk.
Let me tell you, Randy, what else she does.
I know where he's
She
going.
makes sure that I have some extra money every week in my. She she
Behind
told me.
every great man is what? A greater woman. There we
Listen,
go.
she told
Look,
me what she told me the other day, telling me, she said, your stories disgusted me. Oh, they disgusted me. I was like, huh? She said they were good, but they were disgusting. The content. I
I
love
love it.
it was the content, y'all, and it was my fault that we are late, and I am so sorry. But I needed the world to see my face. Okay, it was let it be known, and I had gotten up this morning ready to go, and my camera was not working. Okay, I think you all agree tuning in. This episode would not have been the same had you just heard me talking to my dear friends.
And we couldn't see your beautiful voice. I totally agree. And technology is
raspy.
failing us all. One of my lights went out this morning, so
She,
I'm like within a shadow. I feel like Bane. You merely adopted the dark. I was born in it. Okay, that's how I feel this morning.
unbelievable.
I
Unbelievable.
love it.
This is not right. So it's two women, two strong black women, and this one ordinary black man. It's not gonna go well. It's not gonna go well. But we're gonna try it anyway. And I'm gonna start on the man side this morning because Michael, I'm really upset this morning, and Black Twitter is with me. I found out Black Twitter is totally with me on the Michael Irvin situation. All he did, he lost his job, he lost all this money because some chick, and I hate to use that expression, it's giving the fact that I got two wonderful women here, but this girl, I'm gonna call her a girl. She's not a woman to do what she did. All he did All he did was say hello. They had a no more than a 30-second exchange. Videotape backs him up. He's in tears yesterday with his attorneys because he knew from the start how this this was just so bad, how easy it is for somebody, particularly a black man, can be falsely accused. He didn't even touch the woman. And Fox, it was Fox or CBS or whoever had the Super Bowl, who cares, right? Sent him home. Right. He didn't make money that, and he had other things for that week. On this accusation alone, Washington, D.C. Attorney Monique Presley said, make it make sense. It is horrible. Now, here's the thing, Misha and Randy. We had the Me Too moment of reckoning and all that stuff. But when you have something like this, it really, really spoils the pot, doesn't it? When you have such a ugly, ugly false accusation. This man did absolutely nothing. And all the other people in that hotel lobby said he was just being himself. He just said hello to everybody. She purposely stopped and said hello. It was a friendly exchange for a few seconds, and he went right to the elevator and kept going. Come on. Y'all gonna give Michael Irvin some love, black women?
I want to start by saying that this is quite disturbing and goes along with a historic trend of women falsely accusing black men. We know this to be true. And of course, we think of extreme instances like Emmett Till.
Yeah.
And so to know that things such as an Emmett Till can happen when you falsely accuse a black man of inappropriately dealing with a woman.
And she's white. They said she's white in this case.
Okay. Last I checked, it had not been confirmed that she was a white woman.
Yeah, it's not officially confirmed, but reports are.
Of course, of course, that's my assumption. And just the danger in that is incredibly terrifying that she would want to continue this trend in 2023 when this man who really was innocent. However, my concern in her doing this and this false accusation is that we're going to really reverse all the steps that we've made in Me Too, because we've gotten to this place where we believe the victim. That is something that we talk about all the time. Believe the accuser. Listen to what they're saying. And that's what happened.
I believe the accusers should be heard, but not immediately believed.
So can I jump in and say there's a caveat to that, Misha? It's not that we're going to, it's not that it's going to really reverse everything for Me Too. It's going to reverse Me Too for black women, because white women tears have always been validated. White women's tears have always been verified. It is our tears, it is our pain that has been dismissed, that it doesn't exist. So it's really going to hurt us. It's going to backfire on us. It's not going to backfire on them. It's going to backfire on us. And that is such a really big problem.
Yeah. Michael Irvin is suing the hotel and the woman. It's $100 million lawsuit that he's filed, and he did that immediately. Dr. Nicole says if they prove it was all fabricated, then she should pay in both civil and criminal. The criminal part. Hopefully, that will prevent the next one from trying it. But
definitely.
But here's the other part. Here's the other thing. This is what we're talking about. This is related. In a sense, this false accusation. Now, Tiger Woods, right, is going through something again. He was seeing this woman for a few years now. She moved into his house in Florida. He kicked out, right, just a few months ago. So gave her walking papers, right? She has an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement, and the only way to break that agreement legally, if there was sexual assault or assault, right? Some sort of assault or more domestic violence or sexual assault is what it is, right? Mm-hmm. she has never alleged that, and now she finds out that that's the only two things that she can use to do it. And her attorney is intimating that she is going to, because she's saying that his security team, his team met her at the airport. They packed her bags and this, and now she wants to allege that Tiger did something. Now, I'm no Tiger Woods defender whatsoever, but you see where this is going. You see exactly where this is going. David Youngblood says she's going to have a sexual assault allegation. This is where it's going.
Yeah.
Because she wants to be able to, because he kicked her out. Now she claims that she left $40,000 in cash behind.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Right.
She says she wants to be able to speak out about the incidents, about her life with Tiger. That's the idea of an NDA. Why sign it? If you got to be in a relationship with somebody, y'all can speak to this better than me because y'all are women. I got to throw this out there. I don't care who you are, who he is, ladies. If this man asks you to sign an NDA, how do you feel about that?
I mean, you have to, honestly, you just have to know what you're getting into. We're grown. Is everyone not grown?
Right.
Hello, are we not adults? I mean, you know, how I feel about it doesn't matter. If I want to be with the person and that's what he wants and that is his.
I'm not signing no NDA.
I mean, but I'm just saying, I'm saying if I want to be with that person, right? If I want to be with that person and that's what he wants, if he says I'm not going to be with you without it, if that's the decision I make, that's the decision I make, right? To sign it.
True.
My thing is, why do these people get with these high class celebrities and then they feel as if
Tiger's not high class.
Wait, well,
got high class money.
I mean, come on, it's Tiger though.
Look at the store he dug into for those women.
Flag on the play. Don't do Tiger like that. I know he's
Nope. Look at those women. When he cheated on his wife, those women, just about all of them, looked like he literally went into the sewer and pulled them out. Those were the hideous, disgusting looking women. I don't care what nobody say. I don't care what anybody say. That dude was on something. He was on something. Tiger Woods, billionaire superstar Tiger Woods could have got any model looking woman, any high class, as you say, looking. He went down into Denny's restaurant and picked up somebody who was making minimum wage, who had 2 teeth, and said, look, let's do this.
Stacey, it's 12 minutes into the show. And I already threw a flag on you.
Good
Somebody
Lord.
had his Wheaties this morning, a coffee that I obviously need. That is hilarious. This is what I have to say about Tiger. And I saw somebody say, message to Tiger Woods, leave those mayonnaise women alone. That is hilarious. And I guess to just back up that comment there, you know, I do not want to be quoted this Friday saying that I am not for interracial marriage because nobody
right.
me.
Right.
Okay. That is not the case, or interracial relationships. I'm fine with it, but I think that Tiger is not at all using his discretion in who are the white women that he's with,
right?
Who he's forming these relationships with. Now, back to the NDA question. That's very difficult. I've always joked that, you know, when I get my basketball player or whoever, that, you know, we gonna have to discuss certain things, right? And there's
which basketball player, Misha?
Look, you know,
there's a couple out there.
We're just manifesting that he exists right now. Okay, I'm not picking or choosing because I want him to see this.
But we know he's black.
For him, he is black. Okay. He's a black man.
Although JJ Redick, I used to have the biggest crush on JJ.
No. Oh my God, that's he's an insult to all people. That dude, he's vomit.
So JJ Redick, you know,
and I'll also throw in person of color. Okay, you know, I've seen some basketball players where I'm like, are you a black man? But I see a curl texture.
That part.
Y'all ain't right.
But going back to the NDA thing, I think that we're all at a level in our careers, right, where that there might be certain things we do or say in the privacy of our own homes that we might not want the whole world to know.
But if you're in a relationship, isn't that implied?
Absolutely. But if you're Tiger Woods and you get kicked out and a woman wants money, I mean, it's just not. It's just not. And not because women are conniving.
But an NDA is different. That's different than a prenup or which another thing I'm not for. Depends on the situation, I think. But an NDA is different from that.
It is, and I wouldn't have never thought to have an NDA in my relationship because emotional intelligence. I know people like to say that's a cliche word, but no, seriously, emotional intelligence should tell you that you don't need an NDA in your relationship. But again, it's the two-edged sword, right? So Tiger is Tiger, and he is choosing poorly. But then also those women that want to be with Tiger, maybe he's finding out that they have these motives, right? Because emotional intelligence should tell you to say, like, if this man wants to break up with me, because Stacey, one thing you didn't say, which was hilarious to me, was how he got her out of his house, tricking her and telling her, which should make everyone think, why, if you are being so abused and he's doing all this thing to you, why are you wanting to go on a trip with him? Because that's how he got her out. He was like, let's take a trip. he got her out of the house and then locked her out. Right.
She clearly was not
that kind of doesn't make sense.
Right. She clearly was not a victim of abuse. Certainly not physical abuse anyway. We can't speak to the other side because now has she come out and said, oh, he emotionally abused me, whatever. Yeah, I could kind of buy that because Tiger is Tiger. The Tiger that he's shown himself to be, you can kind of see that.
Arrogant, pompous, all of the words.
And I think also, just going back to your point about emotional intelligence, I mean, we can really even dwindle it down to what we see in many relationships, no matter the age, is that people can just be straight up petty and immature. And
I've been called that. I mean, on this show.
I've seen time and time again, unfortunately, people that I know and love, and we're talking about celebrities, right? Whose nudes get leaked after a relationship, and they were in love with this person, you know. I said that person was a keeper, only for that person to leak their nudes later, or to talk about something that just they did not want out there in public on Twitter because they were mad or they were hurt. And so I think that NDAs are crazy. I think in a relationship to think of, we're obviously now we're talking business and what is romance, right? But I think at the end of the day, it's not like Tiger and his team weren't up to something, because you have to protect an image, particularly an image that is Tiger Woods, he's already tarnished himself.
Oh gosh,
he's already tarnished himself. Let's be clear.
There's not a washing machine in the world that can clean that dude from his tarnish. Good Lord.
I mean, but he doesn't care.
Well, yeah, and you got to get to a point where you don't care, right? If you're Tiger Woods, you got to get to that point, because the way he was and he did it, it was all self-inflicted. It's all self-inflicted. Listen, I had a couple of major, you talk about A-list, they above A-list celebrities who asked me to sign NDAs. I refused. And the only time I've ever signed one was the very first time I went to Neverland Ranch. They required you to sign it. But after my 10th visit, I stopped signing them. But I understood later why at Neverland you wanted to, you didn't mind signing. I didn't mind signing an NDA, but others, and like I said, I won't even mention the two major celebrities who asked me to sign them, and I said no, I'm not signing it. And I still to this day have those NDAs. One was from the 90s, the other was from the 2000s. I still have them that I refused to sign, and I just kept them as like souvenirs. Because I have a voice too, and
now you're gonna put them in a
and Randy, you know my whole motto, right? People talking about it. Oh, you're gonna burn bridges. Yeah, I'm tearing it. I'm bombing the bridge
Right.
out the door. I'm throwing grenades on that bridge. Yeah, yeah. And my wife says I'm not signing on to my. Hey, wait a minute. She said I'm not signing Stacey's the NDA. Why not?
No, and I
I know
agree.
that's right.
No, and that
I'm
is
giving her an NDA today.
She's
If
gonna write a
want all
tell-all
this
book.
good chocolate, she's gonna continue to sign that. And she's gonna sign that.
She's gonna write a tell-all book called "Living with Petty Tendergrass."
No, it's good, and then the subhead will be "Let it be known."
Yeah.
So there's no.
We're done here, Misha Green. We're done. We're done here. Now
I love
look,
it.
Randy wants to talk about the Mexican cartel. It's horrible what happened to those folks there in Mexico. What's up with that, Randy?
This is one of the topics that will be on my What a Week with Black Twitter today coming out. It was extremely horrible what happened to those Black people, and a lot of Black. So yes, there are Black people, Black gangs and Mexican gangs that do rival, right? But for whatever reason, within Black Twitter, we don't expect to see this. To see. I mean, this video is very graphic. There is a dead body being dragged across the ground and thrown into a back of a truck. And the thing about it is, like, we are really, it's so interesting to see how. I remember when the journalist, I forgot where it was, but it was in the Middle East when he was beheaded, and how whoever is responsible, right, for the internet wiped those videos. But now we're so desensitized to seeing death on our screen, I mean, just everywhere. So to see that, obviously people weren't like shocked. There was not a shocking figure, but it was like, oh my goodness, what's going on? And then they are literally trying to, we're trying to explain to them that they were there for surgery. She was there for a tummy tuck, and then the others were were riding along just helping her out.
That's a whole nother topic.
It's a 20-hour drive. A 20-hour drive.
That's a whole nother topic too, Randy. Right? Another show. We're gonna tackle that. I'm gonna let you keep going, but we're gonna have to tackle that. Going to Mexico for a tummy tuck. We're gonna have to tackle
for any type of surgery. But you know what?
Any surgery,
So cosmetic surgery, yes, I get it. Cosmetic surgery, right? But if you think about it, there are drugs. So I know I have some friends that have gout. It's called the rich man's disease.
Really?
But those pills are
Is it? My grandfather had gout. He wasn't rich.
And I thought it came from, because people would say that it came from like what you ate.
Yes, that's why it comes from seafood, steak, red meat, alcohol. So that's why they call it the rich man's disease. It's just right.
But anyway,
right.
It's
not a rich man's disease. Don't quote me. It's just that's what it's
called. Right? That's what it's called.
But the pills are so expensive, seriously. And so, but in Mexico, they're not. So a lot of people do travel for meds, and then that's another topic too. Think about the medical system here, because that's why they're going. You know what I mean?
But Randy, let's get to the crust of it.
Yeah, I'm good. Let me not jump there, because I can talk that all the way. But the whole thing is the PR team for the cartel. The PR team for the cartel, right? So I'm telling you that I don't believe it. I think they found 5 guys to be the fall guy. If you look at one of those pictures in Twitter, there's a picture in Twitter where the guy that's sitting in the middle, he's actually smiling. I don't know if our great producer Greer has that. Greer, I'm so sorry. I don't think I sent you that picture, but the guy in the middle, that's sitting in the middle of all 5 guys, he's looking to his right, and he's smiling at the guy sitting next to him. So I'm thinking that they found, because you know why, Stacey? You know why they put this out? They put this statement out of an apology, and these guys went rogue, is because the tourism, they don't want those dollars to stop coming to Mexico.
Yeah, but here's the thing. The really, because it is Black Twitter Talk Friday, and we try to keep it light in a sense. But here's the big thing with that, right? the
Yeah.
fact that the cartel put out a press statement, a press release. That's the thing. That's where it begins and ends for me.
They have a PR team.
They have a PR team, Misha.
We cannot play with the cartel
Nope.
in any place. The cartel is a business. I was just in Medellin, Colombia, this past weekend, and I got to see for the first time, and I've traveled to Medellin a lot. My dad lives there. But for the first time, I went to a neighborhood where the cartel ran the neighborhood. I got to see cartel members looking out over everything that was happening. It is a known thing. It's not like, me saying this, I don't fear for my life. Lord God, please get me. But I think I'm good in saying
I don't fear for my life, but God, just in case.
But just in case, I always will take protection. But I watched what happened, and what I learned is that from during tourist hours until about 6:30 p.m., the cartel makes sure that everybody is safe, that everybody gets here's the guy smiling.
There it is.
But, that all of the vendors are safe and sell their wares, and nobody's messing with the vendors, that there's no other crime, because it messes up the tourism. The cartel absolutely has a PR team. Wow. They have lawyers, they have people working with the government always to ensure that there's one, a peace understanding, and two, that they can keep doing what they're doing. That is the case, at least in Medellin, and my assumption is that sort of what's happening in Mexico. But I think what happened in this case, and why their PR team says something, is because they know that then there will be issues with the Mexican government, which is obviously that's where the tourist economy is really going. But I mean, there's money exchange and everything. We know this to be the case.
For me, it's simple. For whatever reason that they put it out there, to me, the best part of the whole story is the fact that they put out a press release.
They had to.
Stacey, you're saying it like
it's like John Gotti. It's like John Gotti putting out a release saying, "No, I didn't have him whacked, but Sammy the Bull deserves to be whacked."
No, I mean,
can I make this point too? Can I make this point? Black dollars, Black culture. Our dollars drive, right? Our dollars, our culture, we drive. So when you have people constantly putting out, "Hey, I'm not going," that Mexico doesn't have to worry about me. That when the Black dollars stop flowing through, that's a problem. But Stacey, this isn't your first time putting out.
Doesn't care about U.S. citizens, but clearly their beef isn't with Black people.
Yeah. I mean, I think really what it boils down to is that Mexicans at this point care about money, at least,
right.
Who doesn't?
I was going to say, just like anybody, we live in a capitalist society right here in the United States.
Yes,
it boils down to they care about money, and so it was truly a case of mistaken identity, something that happens in the United States in neighborhoods every day. We know, of course, with interactions with police and people on the street. But come on, sadly, I have people who I know who've been killed in cases of mistaken identity. Okay, just by other guys in the neighborhood. It happens all the time, and so this is what the Mexican cartel is saying, that this was an accident. We are sorry. Certainly, I'm seeing these comments about Fall Guys. Yeah, the cartel has Fall Guys ready to go. These are not people that picked up on the street. They were ready to go. Their families are being taken care of financially for being the Fall Guys. This is an operation. And so, of course, there's a press release. Yeah, I'm not going to devalue what they got going on over there.
Right. And they did, there was some people put out that they caught the guys and they killed the guys. They did not kill the guys. They can't. They have to keep them alive so that, they could say, "Hey, we have them here. Here they are responsible." You know what I mean? They couldn't kill them. So no, they're not dead. I saw a couple of people that were saying that the cartels killed them. They didn't kill them, because again, it's about the dollars moving through Mexico.
That's it. Yeah. And trust me, they know that surgery money is really driving a lot. Again,
absolutely.
The very few humans that I spoke to in English in Medellin were there for cosmetic stuff. Somebody was getting their teeth done. Somebody, like again, these economies know that particularly Black women or women of color are going to these other places and spending a lot less money for what generally, we hear these horror stories, but generally what seems to be work that they can live with and go on and be happy and tell their friends about. This for the cartel is a nightmare. And that's why they needed that press release, because somebody messed up. They realized they messed up and they can't afford not having other Black people coming out and getting their stuff. Here's the other thing, and by no means am I making this an assumption that these 4 Americans did not. I don't know. Right. I am just really empowering anybody who travels to a Spanish-speaking country to get your Spanish together.
Yes, because I was going to say that. I was going to say Misha's being modest, pero se habla español, right?
Yo hablo español. It's muy importante porque people try to play with you all the time, right. No matter where you are. I'm not
absolutely,
and I'm not saying. I mean, it's just it is what it is. People are trying to make money. People are trying to get up. You have a lot of places where these people are poor. And so, it's no judgment towards them. They're trying to feed their families. At the end of the day, get your Spanish up.
Right.
Gentleman who identifies himself as drunk says the cartel is the government.
Exactly. It is a government. It is a part of the government.
Drunk, you are absolutely right. And I don't know if you're drunk.
Drunk. Hey, when you're drunk, don't they say you tell the truth?
You tell the truth. In vino verdes. Right.
but I want to make clear, because the cartel, again, I don't want them coming for us on this Good Friday, is that they are a separate government. They are a different entity. They are not the Mexican government.
Absolutely.
They are their own entity, right? And so they work with the government in the same way other organizations work with the government. It's just that they have people everywhere, and on the ground and ready to go, and fall guys ready to go, as well as people making millions of dollars.
And they call them the drug cartels. I like that Misha pointed out a lot of the things that they have their hands in, because they, obviously drug cartels, obviously drugs and guns, right? But the cartels do a lot for Mexico as well, which is why the government works with them, giving back, real estate, all of that stuff, medicine, travel, it's a lot. It's a double-edged sword. I'm telling you, it's a double-edged sword. Like it's a lot.
Well, speaking of double-edged swords, some things hear this out, because we don't want to just stay on this young man, although he deserves what I'm sure y'all gonna give him. But some things just simply don't age well. And one of them is this resurfaced now, once again, viral video clip of Louis C.K., Ricky Gervais, Jerry Seinfeld, and the one and only Chris Rock in a 2011 HBO special that was called Talking Funny. The video clip joins the conversation with C.K. saying, when a Black guy gets rich, it's a countdown to when he's poor again. Everyone starts laughing, and Chris Rock refers to C.K., who wrote and directed Chris Rock in Pootie Tang, as the blackest white guy I know. He continues to say, and all the negative things we think about Black people
are rich,
this guy,
forever and ever. Even their
before
kids are rich.
CK
When a
you're
Black guy
saying
gets
I'm
rich, it's down to when he's poor again.
He's the blackest white guy I fucking know. And then all the negative things we think about Black people, this fucker.
You're saying I'm a nigger.
Yes, you are the niggerest fucking white man I have ever.
Amazing.
I don't think he could do that.
What?
I don't think he has those
There's
qualities.
only two. You don't even understand.
Really?
You don't really know him. Like, I've worked with him.
No, like your bit about.
I wouldn't use it anywhere.
No, exactly. These two.
We say nigger on stage.
On stage.
You guys don't. That's an interesting two teams here.
Yeah, and it goes on and on. It is. When you think about when Chris Rock ended his show last week, the much talked about Selective Outrage show, and you think about, he says at the end, and when he drops the mic, he goes, his parents taught him not to fight in front of white people. What the heck was that?
So now I'm wondering, did your parents tell you to pander to white people? Did your parents tell you that to just shuck and jive in front of white people? Because,
Yeah.
but that is what I just saw.
Yeah. What we saw was a man in blackface.
A
Please
man,
wake me up. Wake
I
me up.
just-
Coonery is what she said. Yeah.
It's a snooze fest. You know, Chris Rock, I'm so over.
yeah.
I'm so over him. I'm so over him. I want him to literally disappear.
Okay,
Nobody
look, Randy. Though, but here's the thing. I don't want to just. I mean, Chris, we can go all day, but I want to understand something. And before I get off, Chris, let me say this too, because one of the things I caught in that act, he said that why he didn't hit back at Will Smith. He says he has parents. He didn't say he has parents who taught him better. He says I have parents.
Yeah.
And what does that intimate when you think about the video he just did we just showed, right? And he says, I have parents. Will is a black man, right? What is he saying in code?
That it's okay to call my parents that first.
Well, you know, that whole myth.
What he's saying is that Will doesn't have parents. Yeah. You know, with the lack of leadership, the lack of structure, we know what he's saying. He's saying the same reason why he picked on Jada in the first place.
Yes.
Right, exactly. But that's why he did it in the first place. Out of everyone in the room, there were other people sitting up front that were not of color. He could have picked on one of them.
And how about the only uncomfortable person in the room was the Jewish man, Jerry Seinfeld?
Right.
That's why I said, wake me up.
I mean, yeah, that the whole thing was out of control, but absolutely, he instigated a fight, if you want to say, the Oscars, certainly in front of white people. Now, no one expected Will Smith to get up and slap him. Absolutely not.
Well, the video that we saw, that's where he deserves to slap.
But I mean, come on.
That's where he deserves to slap.
I can't imagine if Dave Chappelle, because that's, I think I would have completed that trifecta of funny guys in that room. Dave Chappelle was in that room. I think that there would have been one fist up and the other in Louis C.K.'s face.
Absolutely.
And I think he's friends with those guys. I've seen, their interactions before, but that was absurd. But I think it also, just going back to your question, I think Chris Rock is giving Louis C.K. permission to talk about the same parents that he said he was so well raised by.
Right.
Just last Saturday, in this vein, to talk about your daughters that you talked about so so highly of in many ways. In that vein.
Misha, let me ask you.
Wait. Can I play devil's advocate?
Okay.
Let me play devil's advocate for a second, guys. I want to ask you. Now, there's a lot of people who think like Chris, okay, that says, well, shouldn't we be the leaders of change? Shouldn't we say that? Shouldn't we be inclusive? Shouldn't we allow people? Should we stick to, hey, woe is me. We're facing the struggle. Yeah, my mom had to go to the vet to get her teeth fixed. She had to go to the vet because she was Black. She could not go to a dentist to get her teeth fixed. But this is a new time. We're in 2020, whatever. Shouldn't we move forward and allow everybody to just be one people? That's where he is in his mind.
Well,
right?
Here's the thing with that. So it kind of goes to what I had in mind. Because my wife was telling me she watched some video the other day, and she could tell it better than I can, obviously. But she says that is a black guy. He was going to some cabin with some white guys. They're going fishing or whatever they're gonna do, and he was talking about how the white guys kept saying they going to their white trash cabin. And he just didn't feel comfortable, and he wouldn't say, "We going to the white trash cabin." So the point being is that saying the N-word like that, should any of us be comfortable with it? Let alone that minstrel show that Chris put on in that video. Should any of us be comfortable with that?
I've done a whole lot of lives answering this question, and I think it becomes very difficult because the right answer probably should be no. But
Right.
at the end of the day, we've, as a culture, in many ways, just like other words and other things, adopted or adapted, and not all. I don't want to speak for all Black people. I'm sure
Right.
there are people commenting saying I've never used the word, right? But I think that in general, the culture has adapted this and sort of.
So should we be mad when white folks say it then?
But they're not a part of the culture, and I think that is at least
But
one.
black people are racist. Black people say things all the time.
But we know that. But
And
that word.
wait, and I'm not saying this is not me saying this, Stacey. This is me saying that's how they think. That's how people like Chris Rock think.
Okay, but that's not our word though, right? Who created that word? Who? Because that word, that's not our word.
But I also think it's really important to know what they were saying and what we have right as our word. They all had a hard ER. And that's what made me cringe even more. You know what I'm saying? Is that I never hear the hard ER as much as I've heard the word. I'm a huge rap and hip hop fan. If I'm saying the word, it sometimes slips out, as I'm even saying it along with the words. But they never use the hard ER. And I think that was also really disturbing, was that but I'm seeing this person say Empower 96 in general. Absolutely right. There are so many people who say the word should not be used in general, and I think if we're in any public space, if we're in any sort of round robin discussion, it just should not be used. It straight up, and so what people decide to do in their music, what people decide to do in the privacy of their own homes or with their best friends or blah, 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 I think is a different story. Music is art, right? And so what they were doing, though they are comedians and artists, was not an artistic moment. And it was also, I think, again, adapted. The word is not ours and should not be ours. Let me make that clear. But again, we've adapted something, right? The culture has adapted something that was not that word that they just used. That hard ER also really threw me for a loop.
Yeah. Misha, can I ask you guys a question? So when you talk about etymology, right? Because we focus on that word and the hard ER versus the A, right? But when and Black culture have adopted that word to mean something different than what it was originally set out to be, right? But that's almost as if it's a colloquialism, like there's another word that literally moves in that same space, but nobody has any outrage over it when it's in movies, when it's in rap. And you know what that word is? It's the BITCH word.
That's a whole nother one. Yeah.
No, that's a whole nother one, right? But again, etymology. This is why I want people so bad. I really want people to give educated answers when they say things, because when you start talking about that, then all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, that's different. No, it's not different. No. It's not different. It's a word used to make a group of people feel horrible, to basically be not discriminatory, but like just be very vulgar to a group of people. And then that group of people decide to say, I'm not going to let you oppress me with this word. I'm going to change it and make it something else for us. And then there's arguments and fights over that as well. I mean, honestly, I don't think it's ever going to be.
So what you're describing, Randy, is like, it kind of answered my question about women use that to describe themselves at times.
Empower.
When they're talking to their girlfriends, they
empower.
Yeah. So in some settings, and y'all can tell me about this. In some settings, is it okay?
I personally don't think it's okay. I personally don't call my friends that. I personally don't, but I know women.
I would never call a woman that.
Never. I don't call any of my friends that. I don't use that word. I personally don't ever say it. I don't use it to be derogatory to any other women. But I do know some women who says that word is empowering for me. Like slut. Slut is also another word that women took to say it is empowering for me, right? Amber Rose, right? It is empowering. So you know, it's kind of hard because the people that are creating it to be derogatory to the group of people, those people just decided we're going to flip it and make it an empowerment and move on with it. That's why I say this is going to always be an argument, because some people feel like the NIGGA is an empowerment, it's a brotherhood, is unifying for some people. You know what I mean? Which again, I don't want to discuss whether it's right or wrong, because two sides of the coin is always going to be there.
Right. And I think the N word, the BITCH, all of that are perfect examples of how, again, we just should not use it in public spheres, because it does get dicey, right? So I think, for example, going back to BITCH, right? We had the horrors of hearing it really derogatorily used about Jada Pinkett Smith, right? I didn't flinch when he used it funny about Will, you know, in his stand-up about Will Smith. And he probably used it more talking about Will Smith, right? But as soon as he used it about Jada, I was ready to turn it off. It made my blood boil, because it was over and over again, and it was used in a derogatory way. Now, of course, it was used in a derogatory way towards Will Smith, but the intention of the word initially was not supposed to be bad towards women. And again, right, this is me saying we should never use it at all. The N word, B word, they're all detrimental and harmful, despite the fact that people have used it to empower. And so we can't judge what's happening in the privacy of their own homes or in their art. But absolutely, and again, arguably, Chris Rock was a comedian, so it was art. But what he was doing was addressing factual things that happened in part of the world. And so in that case, you know, I think both words are perfect examples in Chris Rock's stand-up, right, where it just was detrimental.
Yeah. And Greer makes a good point, Misha. Greer made a good point. She said that that each generation they view it differently, and that's very true. You know, each generation view those words differently. And she Greer Greer and I talked about this. She goes in so hard on Chris because Chris used that B word to Jada after supposedly he did not know that she had alopecia, supposedly, right? But when he does his stand-up, I was looking for, and a lot of us were looking for, the apology. We were looking for him to address that, hey, I did not know she had alopecia, so Jada, I apologize for saying that to you, but will this? That never happened. That never happened, because to me, and it is my opinion, to me, he knew already that she had alopecia. He did not care. He decided to
I don't think he cared. I think you're right on the second part. I don't think he knew, but I think he didn't care. Once he knew, based on what I was just saying, I agree half with you there.
Why didn't he apologize, Stacey?
Well, listen, of course, I can't get in his head as to why he didn't apologize. Perhaps we can go perhaps, but I will say this. I don't think he cared, like you said. I agree with you 100%. But I also will say that I'm no fan whatsoever of Jada Pinkett Smith, right? And I also think Will Smith was totally wrong. Yes. However, even I, having that stand, was totally bothered by the fact that he continually went after Jada with the B word in his stand-up. It was ridiculous. It was demeaning. And you know, he went after her, I think, harder than he went after Will, which means what? Which means that he's a punk.
Yeah,
that, you know, right. And he said that Will could beat him up, and we know that. But and good for him for admitting that. However, it still makes you a punk, because it takes I thought first it takes a real man to say that on in that setting. Oh yeah, no doubt this other man could beat my butt. That's, you know, most of us will never admit that, even if we know it, right? I will never tell you that The Rock can beat me up. I will never tell you that, because I'm going to give The Rock at least a little bit of a sweat, right? But going after Jada,
Stacey had hands. Stacey, you have hands.
Going after Jada like that, somebody who I could care less about Jada Smith, but I felt bad that in her hometown.
Right.
He did that intentionally.
Oh, that was
her hometown.
Yeah.
A hundred
That's
times.
my point.
Like,
That's my point, Stacey. Like, you can't say that. You can't say that. Oh, I didn't know. You can't go on that train of, oh, I'm so innocent. I didn't know. And then you
I
go to
don't
her
think he's in, I
hometown,
don't think he
call her
says
a
he's
B,
innocent.
talk
'cause he
about
did-
her husband, and
Wait,
don't apologize.
But Randy, I don't think he feels like he's innocent because I think he made some comments that suggest that he's not that innocent. However, it's no excuse. I agree wholeheartedly with you. There's no excuse to go anywhere, but particularly in her backyard.
yeah. No, you don't go to Baltimore and talk about Jada. I mean, that's just a thing you don't do. They go
Protect
hard
Black women.
for
Oh, I don't mind him talking about her in
Protect
Baltimore, but
Black
just
women.
don't do it that way.
Well, no, not I think in general, again, those are fighting words. If you go
Right.
into somebody's house to
Right.
to say something, it obviously is you wanted more to go down. But
Derogatory. She did nothing to him. What did she do to him? What did she do to him, Stacey?
But my other
Derogatory.
Well, see,
issue is going back to this, maybe whether or not he knew about the alopecia or not, is that Chris Rock, I thought, really changed the game with black hair. I remember I was in college when black hair came out, and it was monumental because I went to Fordham University, a predominantly white institution, and I was tired of people asking about my hair, right? And then that film came out and they knew they weren't allowed to ask, they couldn't touch, that how expensive it probably is for me to get it how I want it to look and all of that. But it was also monumental for black men. I remember I remember my dad making, oh, you don't need all of that. You know, I was still getting perms at the time. You don't need all of that because it's not good for you. And his mom was a hairdresser, right? He didn't know anything about that kind of stuff until he saw it. And so to have done such a really important film, not just for Black women, but for American history, because I think that film was, to then go and do Good Hair and turn around and make any comment about Black women's hair, which is just, you're not allowed to do. Okay.
Right.
You're just not allowed to do. And particularly lack thereof. You know what I mean? Maybe if it was, oh girl, I love that color on you, Jada. It's making me, you know, whatever. If it was something funny, but had, you know, we knew it was kind of complimentary, that
absolutely.
Would be. But there's a lot of stigma. Even though I always say when a woman cuts her hair, she's about to, you know, do something major, or she knows her power, she knows her beauty.
Right.
But our hair, as Paris said, is off limits. Our hair is off limits.
Can we be off limits? We should be off limits. I'm so tired. I'm exhausted. Black women should be off limits.
What about black men?
Are we about us?
If everybody's off limits, then there's nothing to the comic. We can't.
Sorry, let's say that. Let's give some real here, okay? And Stacey, I'm gonna throw a flag on you again.
No, I'm saying
let's give some real. Black women are below black men. I'm not saying you guys are at the top of the totem pole. Yes, we are.
But
we are. We are below black men. But we get picked on so much, and we ride for y'all. We ride for y'all. But when it comes to us, right? When it comes to us, you guys don't ride for us like that. Black women march.
You got the wrong one
for black men. Black women march.
You got
for
the wrong
men.
one because I'm down.
You guys don't ride for us like that.
Down 1,000% for black women.
Right,
down 1,000%.
And there's
I got girls, and I'm definitely I'm the ride or die.
He has girls. He has girls, and look what he did.
But obviously, he has no problem using the B word. That word has never been used in my house and never will be.
Yeah,
that's why we support you, Stacey.
And this is why. and Stacey said, "Let it be known, it's never happening." But I think in general, I mean, Randy's totally right. We are still fighting every single day for recognition as Black women, and by recognition, I mean respect, right? Yeah. You know, obviously. People were calling the Super Bowl the Rihanna Bowl, right? And that was a beautiful thing. But every single thing she did was critiqued to the nines, down to the fact that, you know, was wondering, should she have been a woman, an expectant mother in performing on the Super Bowl. I mean, like these kinds of things, you know, it's critiqued to a level that does not happen with any other community. And I think if you pair that with the disparities that Black women face, particularly check out this week's Washington Informer. We talk about Black women's health in our supplement. But that's what, you know, the fact is that Black women are the foundation of the Black community. We know women are the foundations of our society, right? And so the fact of the matter is that Black women are persecuted in so many ways. We have so many challenges that we're facing daily without equal access to healthcare, without people taking us seriously in the medical system, without equal access to jobs, without getting paid fairly once we get the jobs. All of these kinds of things. And so then then we talk about Black women's hair. We talking about Black women's hair?
Listen,
I mean,
Misha, we got like 30 seconds left. Unfortunately, man, we got to continue this conversation somehow. Totally Randy's always totally ready. So we gotta finish this. I'm not down with the whole thing about how they went after Rihanna. You know, I'm ride or die with Rihanna too. So being pregnant and doing what she did is incredible. I would never have gone all the way up on the thing like that. And of course, I'm not, never will be, never have been pregnant. And I would never do that. But you know what? And then they talk about her lip syncing and stuff. I don't care if she just stood there and held the mic and didn't do anything.
Right.
The fact that she showed up and showed out, Rihanna did her thing. I don't care what nobody say. And you know, you cannot say she can't work because she's pregnant. That itself is so you know, incendiary. Did I say that word right, Randy?
Malcolm X, the most disrespected woman is the Black woman. That's where I land.
Yep, and that's where we can leave it today. Misha Green, she hooked us up today. She joined us, all diva-like and everything, red lipstick, red dress, and of course, Totally Randy, bringing it strong from Houston. Houston strong. We are have a great weekend. Black Press Week is next week. We got a lot coming up. Black Press Week. We'll see you then. Take care, everybody. Have a great weekend.